talking about the future of Spider-Man, a lot of us now know that Tom Holland has one more appearance left in the MCU. Now, this should worry you a little bit, but probably not as much as you might think. And there's something good to come out of this before anything moves forward, so let's get into the details. So just so we're clear, we understand that Tom Holland's contract was for a certain amount of films, and then they're going to try to renegotiate, or he's out of the MCU and Sony doesn't want Spidey in there. And that'll be the end of the story. Now, going into Spider-Man 3, which clearly has to happen, and it's a part of the partnership between Disney and between Sony and between Marvel, this has to be fulfilled. So going into the third film, you have to understand that a few things have to be made clear before they ever even start rolling the cameras. And that's a new contract. If Sony doesn't agree upon a new contract with Marvel Studios, Marvel has to find a way to write Spider-Man and everything he's established out of the future of the MCU, because they won't be able to use any of that. Now, if they can establish that he's going to stay around, they have to renegotiate that in the contract. So you have to really understand that the future of Spider-Man is going to be known before the third film is ever out. And that's how this thing is going to go. And my assumption will be that it's going to be the same way that they announced that Spider-Man was coming into the MCU. Well, if you guys remember, it was like 1201 or something on like a February, I want to say. It sounds about right. Anyway, it was like a February, and they just dropped the news. Oh, Sony and Marvel and Disney strike a deal to bring Spider-Man to the MCU. And it was like a long paragraph. Something like that is going to happen before they start rolling cameras on Spider-Man 3, because they have to reassure people. And if they don't reach that agreement, then they're going to have to pitch the third Spider-Man film as the conclusion to Spider-Man in the MCU. So I think there's some worry here, and I understand why it's there, but you have to realistically understand that something's going to get worked out. We're going to know if Spider-Man is sticking around or leaving just by the sheer coincidences that have to happen leading up to this thing. Because there's no way the third film comes out and we've heard nothing about the contract, and they're like, well, I guess he's out of there, and they built up a few things that are never going to pay off. That's definitely not going to happen. So it's just a wait and see game, but we're most likely going to know about a year from now what the full extent of it is and how long he's staying around for, or not.